lost. Completely lost. Are you kidding me? Alright, what did Captain say? When you're feeling down, remember to shout. Well, I don't really feel like shouting. Music helps though too. Let's see, where did I put that? Oh, right. I guess I could practice this. I haven't practiced in a while. Hope I still remember. Let's see here. No, that's not right. What are you doing here? What's wrong? Why did you run away? Is the geek mean to you too? Well, come here. You know, he's probably really worried about you. You are pretty far away. I mean, I don't even know where I am. Well, you know, I would be able to find my ship easier if I remembered where his place was. If I could get back there, I would be able to find it. And I'm pretty sure that it'd be a lot easier if I had a guide. I mean, at this point in time, I would be able to find myself out of a box. How about we go back together and you can tell him how you feel? Alright, that's a good girl. Well, let's go. I'm sure he's worried about you, and I'd like to find my way back too. I'm sure you can guide me. Well, have a good feeling about today. I think everything will be just
I know it's been a long time, and I'm sorry for that. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I've been doing a lot of Let's Play stuff. It takes a long time to edit and cut and just film, because I don't get many days to actually film because I don't like playing a game by myself, and it's really hard to get people to come out and help me. It's really nobody's fault, but we're kind of losing track of what we're talking about. Today's episode of the Geek Reviews is something I've wanted to do for a while, and I want to point out that I'm not really educated totally, so keep in mind that these are my opinions. We'll go over that in a minute. Now, this is another top 10 list. I hope you guys don't mind. It's been a while since I've done a lot of anything, so I'm kind of losing track on what I've done too much and too little of. But today, we're going to do a top 10 list of the Geeks' top 10 favorite YouTube entities. Now, when I say entity, I'll get into that too. Let's get into it right now. The rules for this list are as follows. Number one, very important, this is my personal list. If you disagree with anybody on this list or the number of importance, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion, as are you to yours. Next rule, when I say entity, I don't necessarily mean a specific person, but it could be a specific group or a specific YouTube page. So it can imply one person, a group of people, or just like whoever's involved with the channel that I'm referencing, or the show I'm referencing on a channel. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about every channel that everybody's watching. I've got a lot of stuff to do in my life, and I'm a slacker, so I miss a lot of stuff by the wayside. I won't deny it. So, I think we covered all the rules. Before we get into the actual list, I want to cover some honorable mentions. Notably, Peanut Butter Gamer, The Completionist, Retro Robbie, which is a friend of mine who a lot of you guys might not know. I don't know. He's a great Let's Player. Please check him out. And there's Comics Explained and Masterpiece Reanimated. Masterpiece Reanimated actually takes old Transformer figures, not old, but the old characters. They take Masterpiece figures and third-party custom-made Masterpiece characters, or toys, and use them for stop-motion animation, and it's really, really spot on. It was really tough for me to not put them on this list, but they do definitely deserve an honorable mention. But that's it for our honorable mentions, so, of which there are many more. It's just those are the only ones that I can come up with in this short of a time span. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the 10.
Number 10.
Oliver Harper. Mr. Harper is one of many film and media reviewers who seems to focus mostly on retrospectives. What drew me to him initially was his retrospective on one of my favorite movies, Return to Oz. And as I looked over his page, I saw he gave the same treatment to many of my other favorites, including The Neverending Story, Back to the Future Trilogy, Masters of the Universe, and my all-time favorite, Gremlins. Listening to the info he's compiled on the making of these movies and the thoughts on people who've made them really made me interested and found his work to be a great look into the behind-the-scenes of many of my favorite movies.
Number 9.
The Game Theorists. A few of the people in this group I found to be very entertaining, but while I love hearing about the Japanese backgrounds in gaming, pointed out by Gaijin Goomba, it's really Matt Pat who piqued my interest here. I will admit, I find some of his videos irritating, like the logic behind why Mario is supposed to be a sociopath. It was his thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's series that really got me hooked. While I'd never played these games myself, with the exception of FNAF World, seriously people, if you can, hook me up. The lore hidden in each game, the deep mystery, is what pulled me into the fandom hard, and I have Matthew Patrick to thank for that.
Number 8.
Hello everybody, my name is
Markiplier. And now for the guy who made FNAF famous and was made famous by it. Markiplier may have been huge long before for many people, but for me it was when my friends Angie and Jill basically dragged me over to his channel and I was trapped in the pink hairs ever since. Boy, that doesn't sound gross, does it? Since he began his channel long ago in the ancient days of YouTube, he had quite easily formed a fandom and a clique of contributors to become a giant in the YouTube community, and it's the title he deeply deserves. I know if I ever need a laugh or a little warming of the heart, good old Marky Moo, along with Tiny Box Tim, always has got me covered.
Number 7.
Did you know gaming? Did you know gaming is basically all I have left after Game Trailers canceled their show, which I frequented at the time, Pop Fiction, in which they would explore the truth behind gaming myths and legends. While Did You Know Gaming doesn't handle things the same way, they are the go-to guys if you want to learn anything about your favorite games, from Sonic's origins being a means to directly compete with Nintendo, to whether or not Kirby's universe takes place in our own far-off future. The amount of knowledge these guys find on games popular or forgotten is limitless, and always has me begging for more.
Number 6.
Cinemassacre. James Rolfe was one of the inspirations for the Geeks Obscure Reviews, along with the Happy Video Game Nerd and another group we will bring up later. The angry video game nerd has amassed a massive fan base, armed with endless games and accessories, and an equally endless supply of foul language. His love of games, good and bad, is a constant source of interest and entertainment. It's important to point out that his love for filmmaking was another pull for me as a viewer, since I did the same thing myself. However, unlike him, I never really had access to a camera in my youth. This man is the reason I now own all but one of the Godzilla films, and have become far more interested in classic cinema.
Number 5.
Eternalyoptomistic Reviews. Eternally Optimistic came to my attention through her videos on Mystery Science Theater 3000, of which there is a short supply of MST3K love on YouTube. And as I scanned through her channel, I also noticed a lot of other similar interests she and I seem to share, most notably Digimon. While I'll never have her ability to master the art of the review, I still hope to be able to rise to her level of professionalism and heart.
Number 4.
Comic pop. I'm a huge comic nerd. Have been since the 80s when I picked up an issue of Masters of the Universe from the then popular toon-focused offshoot of Marvel, Star Comics. As I grew up and branched out into Ninja Turtles and then Spider-Man, before my love of comic heroes exploded in the mid-90s. Comic pop, specifically their show back issues, helps me catch up on what I missed. Their wealth of knowledge on internal comic politics and forgotten stories and characters truly get my mind burning on topics and stories I hope to read on my own. As it happens now, I have Tiffany to thank for my sudden love of the series saga. Now, if only they would cover Spider-Girl. Please, Comic Pop, look at Spider-Girl. May Parker, Spider-Girl.
Number 3.
Wickedkittygaming. Now, I love Five Nights at Freddy's. I think we've already established that. Specifically, the lore, history, and mystery involved, but Wicked Kitty kicks my ass as far as mega fandom goes. She's very positive and perky in all her reviews and Let's Plays, and whenever a new review or something FNAF pops up, I am the first in line to watch with bated breath. It is a hope of mine to one day collaborate with her on something somehow. Fingers crossed.
Number 2.
Macthegamer. A little bit of history on me personally. A few years ago, I attended a convention in Bloomington, Minnesota, which I still frequent every year. I forget if it was Anime Detour or Convergence, but the story goes like this. I was sitting in a common area, a kind of a massive open area where people could rest their feet or play random board games or card games. I was feeling pretty down at the time and was debating on whether or not the Geeks Obscure Reviews would even continue. Then this lovely young lady sat down across from me. I forgot how, but we began talking, and she filled me with this confidence I had long ago lost. When I mentioned I was on YouTube, I was shocked and awed to discover she was as well. And when I took a look at her work, I was blown away. I'd never guessed she was as committed or as entertaining a YouTuber as she was, but I suddenly found myself honored to be able to actually call her a friend. She hasn't produced anything lately, but her channel is still up, and I recommend it to anyone who likes a good Let's Play, or anyone just needing to hear words of encouragement. I really hope she jumps back into YouTube soon, but I've been fearing lately that she may have retired from it.
Number 1.
Pop Culture Network. These guys. These guys are the reason I became a YouTuber. Let me take you back to around, I think it was somewhere in the year 2008. The Masters of the Universe Classics toy line was beginning to take shape, and somewhere in the massive excitement I discovered these guys. At the time, the show roster consisted of Pixel Dan, Duvall, Scotty Cash, Killin, and the man himself, Dirt. These guys are my YouTube heroes. There was a warmth to these guys, like they were the guys you grew up with. The show they were most popular for in the beginning, That New Toy Smell, had more heart and pride behind it than anything I've ever seen in YouTube before or after. They showed how a group of friends knew how to run a show. They had plans. It was clear at the sight of the older episodes that they had a fresh and just eagerness to talk about toys. But as they grew and became more popular and professional, sadly the core team seems to have gone their separate ways. I know Pixel Dan and Duvall still frequent YouTube on their own private shows, but for the most part they've pretty much split. Now I'm alright with that, but at the time it was like hearing your parents were divorcing. It hurt. Almost physically hurt. I wanted to see some form of reunion special, but for now I have to settle with the great shows that still come out of the PCN. And a small side note, I suddenly got to take over a show over there by the name of Farmers Friday. Please check it out every Friday. It is a small dream come true, and I'm just honored to be able to work with some of my YouTube heroes from afar. Okay guys, that's it for my top 10 YouTube entities. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys agreed with me. If you didn't, that's okay too. And please comment on why you feel like somebody who I voted for my list shouldn't be on that spot, or you feel should be higher or lower. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Comment, subscribe, hit us up on the Facebook page, whatever you want to do. I'd really appreciate hearing what you guys have to say. But that's it for today. So until next time, this is the Geek saying good journey.